So just before 2 p.m. today, the Jupiter Island Police Department, which is where we currently are, received a call of a rollover crash about 2.5 miles from where we are. The Jupiter Island Police Department responded out there and found a pickup truck pulling a pressure cleaner trailer and a Land Rover which was rolled over on the driver's door, and we're going to provide you photos of that. The investigation started, and initially, right off the top, it did appear that the driver of the Land Rover might be impaired, and at that point, the Chief Ewing of Jupiter Island Police Department called me from the Martin County Sheriff's Office and asked for our assistance. It wasn't that the Jupiter Island Police Department isn't fully capable of doing these types of investigations, but quite frankly, the Sheriff's Office has a lot more repetitions in these traffic crashes and these types of investigations. Our investigation revealed as follows. Shortly again before 2, the pressure cleaner truck pulling a trailer, a small trailer, was northbound on South Beach Road and was pulling kind of to turn into a driveway. It was starting to turn into a driveway, and the driver of that vehicle looked in his mirror and saw a Land Rover, a dark-colored Land Rover, overtaking him at high speeds, and I don't know those speeds. The Land Rover kept overtaking him. He saw it coming, so he tried to edge off to the side of the road, but this is a small 2-lane road, and there was no shoulder for this pressure cleaner gentleman to get off the side of the road. As he was trying to move to the side of the road, the Land Rover overtook him at the last minute, swerved to avoid a collision, but clipped the back end of the trailer of the pressure cleaner apparatus, listed to the side, and then rolled on the driver's door north past the truck that had just avoided the crash with. The individual driving that Land Rover was able to crawl out the passenger door of the car and was identified to be Mr. Tiger Woods. Our DUI investigators came to the scene here, and Mr. Woods did exemplify signs of impairment. They did several tests on him. Of course, he did explain the injuries and the surgeries that he had. We did take that into account. But they did do some in-depth roadside tests, and when it was determined, he was placed under arrest and taken to the Martin County Jail. At the Martin County Jail, and even on scene, we really weren't suspicious of alcohol being involved in this case, and that proved to be true at the jail. So Mr. Woods did a breathalyzer test, blew triple zeros, but when it came time for us to ask for a urinalysis test, he refused, and so he's been charged with DUI, with property damage, and refusal to submit to a lawful test. In the crash, no one was injured. Mr. Woods did not seem to be injured at all, and the other gentlemen were not injured. But this happened a few hours ago, so I've given you the information that I have right here, right now. So with that, let me kick it to you for questions. I'll answer what I can answer.
Just to be clear, they're both going in the same direction? Tiger was coming up behind the guy in the pickup with the pressure cleaner?
So the question is, were they both going the same direction? Yes. Both of them were in the 280 block of South Beach Road, driving northbound. The truck pulling a trailer was trying to slow down and pull over, and Mr. Woods was overtaking him at a high rate of speed before he clipped the back end and rolled his vehicle over on the driver's door.
How many times did he roll over?
So the question is, how many times did he roll over? The answer is he didn't roll completely over. The truck rolled to the driver's door and then just slid northbound up the road. And again, we'll provide you some photos of that.
I know you said you don't know the exact speed. You said high rate of speed twice now. Is there a way just to give us a general idea of how fast? You mentioned before, it's a 2-lane road. You can't drive very fast on that road.
So the question is, can I give you a general idea of how fast? And the answer is I can't, but I can tell you this, it's a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. And when I show you the photos, they kind of speak for themselves. You can see where he clipped the back of the trailer. You can see where he rolled. And then as he decelerates, sliding down on the driver's door of the vehicle, you can see that he slid for a pretty decent a space before he came to a stop. Yes, sir.
Was he cooperative as far as what his schedule was today, what he was doing? Was he did he speak to you guys what his activities were today?
So the question was he cooperative with us? The answer was he is cooperative, but he was not trying to incriminate himself. So he was careful in what he said and didn't say. And when it came time again for the test, the urine test at the jail, he stopped that. Let me go back to one thing. There is a Florida state statute that requires us to keep people incarcerated for at least 8 hours post a DUI arrest. So he's in our jail. He will be there for at least 8 hours from 3 o'clock for at least 8 hours, and then he'll be released on bond if he posts bond.
Thank you.
Injuries to the driver who was pulling that pressure washer.
So the question is injuries to the driver pulling the pressure washer. The answer is no injuries to him. He was fine, thankfully.
You said that breathalyzer came out with zeros. There was the urine testing for that.
Question is breathalyzer was 0 and it's a urine test. The answer is yes. So on scene, we had DRE experts evaluating him, and they believed from on scene that he was not impaired on alcohol. They believed it was some type of medication or drug. And again, at the jail, he cooperated with the urine, or I'm sorry, he cooperated with the breathalyzer, and then the urine he wanted no part of.
Is there going to be any testing afterwards? What's the procedure with that to verify if he was under something?
So the question will there be any follow-up testing? The answer is no. He has a right to refuse that test. There is a Florida statute which he will be charged with for refusing to take that test, but we will never get definitive results as to what he was impaired on at the time of the crash.
Is that also a felony, refusing to take the test?
The question is it a felony? The answer is no. Both charges are misdemeanor charges.
Is he being given preferential treatment in the jail because of who he is?
The question is he getting preferential treatment in the jail because of who he is? Let me go back to the simplicity of this. We're the sheriff's office. We know we arrested a high-profile figure. I'm not trying to dramatize, but it doesn't matter who you are. If you break the law, we're going to follow the law. That's a really easy path to take. Now, as far as being in the jail, we're going to make sure he's safe. We're not going to put him in general population. He's not going to be with other inmates that could hurt him or try to capitalize on what he did. He'll pay the price, but he's not going to pay the price by getting punished in jail.
Was there any drugs or medication or alcohol found in the car?
The question is, was there any drugs or medication in the car? The answer is no, there was not.
Was he injured?
The question is, was he injured? And the answer is no, he was not injured. Again, he was lethargic on scene, but that, we believe, was because of what he was intoxicated on.
Was anyone else in the car with him?
The question is, anyone else in the car? The answer is no, he was alone in the car.
And was he wearing a seatbelt?
The question is, was he wearing a seatbelt? And the answer is, I don't know. I'm not sure. We know he crawled out of the passenger door prior to law enforcement arriving. We can determine that based on looking at the car. I just don't know the answer.
Anyone else injured in the area because of the crash or the rollover?
The question is, anyone else injured because of the rollover crash? And the answer is, thankfully, no. This is a small 2-lane road. Again, I'm going to show you the photos. Had there been somebody moving in the opposite direction, we would not be having a conversation saying there was no injuries. This could have been a lot worse. Is that all?
Sir, thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.